So hey, we're sitting here with Sarah Kamienski, and you just spoke at the Flagler Youth Forum for Youth Ministry about adolescents and mental health. And you are a licensed mental health counselor. You've been doing that for
about 15 years.
15 years, so a lot of experience working with adolescents and mental health, obviously. And we're talking about youth workers today. So what would be the ideal scenario for you if a youth worker were to call you and say, hey, Sarah, I need some help. I have these students that are having these challenges. What would you say to youth workers about that situation?
Great question. I wish more youth workers would do that, to be honest. I would probably be amazed at first because that has happened so little in my experience, much more recently. But my first probably reaction would be to kind of just that typically happens in crisis. And so I would probably walk through, is there imminent danger in this very specific situation, kind of walk through what's happening. But then kind of going forward, preventative, that kind of thing, I'd probably encourage them to get to know me, to add me to the Rolodex, to the list of people who could be called. I think one of the best things that youth ministers can do is sort of recognize when they're kind of hitting the lid of their own competence and when they need to get help from a professional. Just calling me and saying, hey Sarah, this is what just happened. If you know me and have a relationship with me is a lot easier than just like panicking, what do we do next? I have a girl who's cutting and she's wanting to kill herself. So I would say preventatively seek out a few counselors in your area, cultivate relationships with them so that you kind of have an ongoing relationship there. And then additionally, I would love to, excuse me, just talked to a youth pastor about this 2 days ago. As a counselor, I would love to like partner with you in what, depending on your, obviously your church and what your situation is. But if you're interested in kind of training yourself, your staff, the other youth volunteers that you have to kind of go over some of just the basics of listening, kind of crisis intervention, is this an ongoing problem? Is this a crisis? What is our protocol and that kind of thing? Yeah. I think opens, like just talking about, having conversations about those things can sort of, I think help people know what to do so that they don't panic, they're not acting reactively, but instead are offering soul care that's consistent with who they want to be as youth ministers.
Soul care.
Yeah.
That's a good word. So maybe having a bit of a plan in place, having those relationships built ahead of time,
yes,
rather than, oh my gosh, this just happened, now what do I do?
If possible, don't wait for the crisis. Try to identify a few people in the area in advance who could be helpful in walking alongside.
Yeah. Do you have some partnerships like that? You mentioned you spoke with a youth pastor a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Do you have partnerships here locally? Is that an ongoing thing for you? And
it's kind of a thing on the rise as I've just kind of entered into the youth ministry department at Flagler. But I would say every connection that I make with a youth minister, the more we talk, the more their face kind of lights up in, well, there's hope here. There are answers to some of these problems, and by answers I just mean an ability to learn how to create a safe space for someone to be where they are, because that's in general a lot of what we do in counseling. But just knowing kind of what the framework is for that, I think is really helpful. It dismantles a lot of the fear.
Okay. Yeah, well, I would say thank you so much for what you're doing. In 15 years of youth ministry experience, there have been many times where I've hit that lid of competency and been in way over my head. And just having someone like you as a partner that is involved would be an amazing gift, a massive gift. So thanks for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cool.